I hope that it makes a difference for you as well. So I was at school, back in high school. So I think I was a junior. I was in Orem, Utah, really fun place to grow up. But I remember I had a really good friend, and she's a girl, and we were kind of dating, kind of not, but like, we really liked each other and stuff like that. But we basically had this falling out. We had this time where it was kind of just, we decided that we weren't going to be, hanging out anymore and seeing each other. And so it was really hard for me. I don't know. I just felt alone. I felt really depressed and really sad. And it happened for a few months, where I just like would go to school and get my homework done and do stuff like that. But I just really felt down. I felt super down. I didn't really know what to do. And obviously I was, praying for help at the time and things like that. And didn't really know kind of how I would get out of this funk. And so what happened is I ended up having, at the time I was in band. So I was like doing percussion and stuff like that. Our school didn't have marching band or drumline, but my instructor was a percussionist. And so he ended up going to a different high school just for marching band. And so he would do that, after school, and then do it during the summer and stuff like that. And they were kicking off during the summer. It was about the summer was about to kick off. And so I remember I was going to the school, I think just to say goodbye to him or something like that. And I ended up, he was like, hey, you should come to a drumline. You should come try out. And I was like, okay, well, I've never really thought about that. So sure, let's try it out. So I ended up going and trying out, and I made it and all this stuff. And so it was really fun. And I didn't think much about it. Like I was like, okay, well, this is just like the next thing. I hadn't really thought of, hey, maybe this is an answer to my prayers and my parents' prayers about helping me kind of get through this time. But it turned out that was the case. Like that summer, I really changed a whole lot, and having, a new group of friends and a new thing to do and kind of keep my mind off of some of the hard things that I went through, it was really, really powerful, and it really helped me. And I could see, that was inspired by God. But it's interesting because I look at that and I see that it actually was a lot bigger than that, because now I look back and say, okay, so I did marching band, which I loved, and then I ended up doing it in college. And guess what? That's where I met Amy. So I met my wife in marching band, and that was like I'm just so blessed that I was able to marry Amy, and I'm very grateful for her. And so it's just really interesting, because I think sometimes we see like our timing can be a little bit harder to like see, right? We're kind of like, oh, I'm suffering through this thing, and so I want help. Or, I'm trying to get this thing done, or I'm trying to hit my goal here, and so I just want to do that. And so we kind of like, our view is very limited sometimes, right? But when we look at God's timing and God's view of things, we know that He can see so much further ahead than we can. And that's what's really powerful, is we can see, like, as we trust in Him and trust in His timing, then He'll have even greater things for us. And so that's what I want you to think about today is, for me, I'm grateful for the hard things that I went through, helped me get stronger, but it also pushed me in the right direction, right? It helped me to go do marching band, because maybe, had I not been sad and kind of depressed at that time, maybe I wouldn't have actually done that. Maybe I just would have kind of continued on and had a very different life, which is kind of crazy to think about. And that's just something that I want you to be thinking about too, is, how can you trust in Him? First of all, I want you to just think about, how have you seen His guidance in your life? How are those things you looked back and said, wow, this thing I didn't really expect to happen, or I didn't want it to happen. But then when I look back on it, wow, it actually was inspired, and it was something that was, supposed to happen. So think about that. But then going forward too, and even right now, like maybe just take a minute and think about some of those things that you just need to just trust in God, right? Trust in Him and trust in His timing. I think for me as an entrepreneur, I look over the last 10 years of the tons of, dozens of projects and different things that I've done, and finally kind of leading to this point where I really am focused on events, that I've seen that that's what has helped me in my business. That's what helped me to make an impact in the world on a small scale. But then I start looking at other huge influencers and other businesses, and looking at like, wow, it really is through events. It's through challenges and summits and webinars and live events and all of these things. And I'm like, that's like, everyone teaches their own specialty, but it all comes down to like these events, right? That's what they're really talking about, and really able to change people's lives and to impact the masses more than just like one-on-one. And so anyways, just for me, I'm just grateful for that timing. And, and maybe I'm sure as I kind of look at that more, I could see even more kind of inspiration around all of that. But I'm just very grateful for that. And I just thank my God that he's helped me to find this path and really helped me to find, the people that have been able to help me, and then be able to, have the confidence that I can do this too. It's been really, really powerful. And I just really am appreciative to him. And so that's just what I want you to think about too, is how can you make sure that you're trusting in his timing? Sometimes we want to hit this goal or we want to do something, but maybe it's not, his will, but just obviously continue to work on that and continue to go, and you'll be able to see that success. And so thanks so much for tuning in today. I really, appreciate it. I hope that you found value out of this episode, and able to, feel the spirit, and be able to, see that God is on your side and that he's there helping you. And so, reach out to me, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. I'm happy to be able to help you too. Especially if you're interested in learning about events. I think that they're just so powerful and it's so amazing. And so I'd love to, give some insight to you of how you might be able to use those. So anyways, thanks so much again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time.